You don't.
Call the meeting order, Bay County Veterans Affairs Committee, Tuesday, December 13th, 3 p.m., fourth floor of the county building. Roll call. I guess the secretary's got the job.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ron McGick,
Tom?
Troy Stewart, here. Mike Brigandy. Here. Madeline Lazarus.
Here.
And Doc Eckstein. Here. All present, sir.
I'm here too. Minutes from 10/18/2022.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as email.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Citizens' inputs. Anybody wishing to address the committee at this time, step forward. You may state your name or you don't have to state your name. Anybody interested? One more time. Anybody interested? Okay. You can state your name if you want to, you don't have to.
My name is Mark Smith. I've got the food pantry over on Johnson Street for the veterans, Helping Hands for Vets. I just want to tell everybody that I've had a fantastic year with the veterans, and I want to thank the VVA, Vets Council, and the PLAV, and everybody else that's been involved with my food pantry this year, and a couple of churches that helped me out. I've had a wonderful year, and God bless all them veterans that need the help, because they sure need it all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for all you do. Anybody else wishing to address us this time? Anybody else?
Ron, if
Okay.
possible, if you schedule would allow, we have a wonderful Representative Paul from DeSander from Saginaw County who is with the ESTR. He's going to be doing a presentation to me as sort of a patriot employer, and he presented one last night at the school board meeting to the Bay City Schools superintendent. But Paul, you're here and you've been a champion of veterans in the region and statewide. We've known each other for a long time, and glad you're here. He's here at 3, but he's also got to be here at 4. But as long as he's here, maybe, Paul, would you want to share? This is an outstanding committee. Bay County was our second county in Michigan to create a...
Well, Mr. Barcia, we're not doing the real thing until 4 o'clock. Is that my understanding?
It's true, but if the...
So anyway, we have on the screen what we're going to talk about. My name again is Paul DeSander. Some of you may be saying, are you related to? Yeah, they're all related. So all the DeSanders are related, good or bad. I'm with the Department of Defense. I represent Employer Support for Guard and Reserve. On the bottom of the screen, you see, we think of reserve component, we think of the National Guard and Army Reserve, but all 7 reserve components. So if you look there on the left, it says Air Reserve, and Army Reserve, Marine Reserve, Air Force Reserve, Marine Reserve, all of them, so that we represent all of them. I'm the area chair. My area goes from Port Huron to Lansing up to 55 and over to Tawas. So it covers quite a few counties. We have somewhere around, it changes, it fluctuates a little bit, 18 to 25 Guard and Reserve units to include Coast Guard that we chase around and their family members. So we got about 30,000 people we stay chased around. This is a significant award we're going to give today, and I'll explain that a little bit later, Mr. Barcia. Thank you very much for having me today. I look forward for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. All I got to say is go Army, beat Navy. Oh, you have some Navy people here?
And that's a fact.
It was a close game.
Mr. Sheriff, I brought Go Army sticker just for you today, because the tradition is you're supposed to carry that around within an arm reach until you guys win back the trophy. But I didn't bring it.
You have no idea how bad that was in my house. My wife's a Marine, my daughter's Navy, Marine Corpsman. It was not a good couple seconds when he dropped that ball.
So
We
1 yard
replayed many
line,
times.
fumble on the 1 yard line.
It's not
Got the coach fired. The coach got fired for Navy. It wasn't a good day.
Not a good day.
And they carried the play. I mean, Navy carried the play most of the day too. So anyway,
Man, just didn't bring it.
anything else? Okay. All right, thank you. So we have petitions and communications, MVAA Federal Fiscal Year 2023 County Veteran Service Fund Grant. So maybe Mark has that.
That was mine, Mr. Chair. And I realize this may have been covered at the last meeting, because I just saw the minutes today. Just that we received the grant from MVAA, the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency, otherwise known as DMVA, Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. So we'd received the grant that we'd asked for, that Craig had asked for, and fill out the paperwork. Total amount of the grant is $76,903.71. And that covers benefits and salary for Gary and I in the office for the year up until sometime September, end of September of next year.
So we'll have,
So then any other money we receive through millage or anything else goes towards emergency relief.
do we need a motion to receive the grant funding, probably? Yes. Okay.
Second.
Yep. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thanks.
For the money. Any reports or resolutions? We've been working on a policy for a long time. Now Marilyn is leaving, and maybe we'll finish it someday. The money for soldiers and sailors relief, we've been working on for a while, so.
Yeah, we understand it's just a matter of coming to the definition of indigent, but also with a safety valve. So if we have someone that experienced a trauma, even though they may not be indigent, but from time to time, people's lives get off track, and hopefully the director would still have discretion to be compassionate with some of that money, but it put together a framework, and I know that Mark and Amber have been talking about that. And I know Mike has pursued the bylaws, but I guess because this is a committee, even our Ways and Means Committee and Personnel and Human Relations, and there are committees and not departments. So the county board has bylaws, but not the committees. So.
Yep, thank you. Old business, Thomas Yuill update. We've met another roadblock. I don't know what it is, getting somebody to engrave this wall. We had a gentleman lined up, I think Van Digby gave his name, and he was all lined up and ready to go, and then he told me he had to become a vendor. He had to sign up with the county to be a vendor to receive the money. Somehow that seemed to turn him off, I guess, and we haven't been able to get him in to sign up. I called him back twice and said, how about if I pay for it and I turn the money in? He still hasn't come. So if anybody knows anybody that does engraving on walls, it's just one name. We have room in the memorial up front, so we're still looking. So if anybody else comes across anybody, in your cemeteries or your wherever, we'll try to get it done. He doesn't have much family in the area, but there are some church members that have been pushing to get his name included. He is a Bay City resident. We found his papers. He was taken into the service from Bay City. So we'll keep looking. So anybody out there in TV land knows of anybody that can do an engraving, come see us. So. New business, request for assistance. $6,171.79 mortgage. Mark.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is one request before the board for a request for assistance with a mortgage, case number 2022-097. There's a Gulf War veteran who's currently on active duty, who is divorced or getting divorced, and the mortgage company said they would work with him as he got all his other bills caught up. Several months went by, he's got his other bills in process, and the mortgage company said, oh, no, we won't do that. So they will not work with him. So unfortunately, he's in an extremely tight bind, and it was the amount of $6,171.79 to pay off.
And he's on active duty?
He's an active guard reserve, whatever his...
He's AGR, so where is he stationed?
Local.
Okay.
So how many months is that? What is his mortgage monthly?
I could get that to you, but I don't think I know. I'm not sure I have that with the paperwork.
question too.
Any other questions? First.
Yeah, Mark, do you know when you talked to this gentleman if he applied to the finance department? Because we have a cap of $3,000, but each resident of Bay County, if they've fallen behind in mortgage, rent, utility bills, can come in and make the case. There's a cap of $3,000, but that would save the fund a little bit of money. Do you know if he applied?
He has not, because he didn't meet the qualifications for, as reading the qualifications for a COVID hardship. The divorce or pending divorce is not a,
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
Is he in?
But he did try?
he may have tried, yes, I'm not, can I get you the answer? I don't know.
He owns his house
He owns the house.
in Bay County,
That is correct.
and he works,
He does.
and how does he plan to,
Once he's caught up to this, with this, or at least take care of what's back and what's in, he'll keep up with the rest of his bills.
and what was the reason?
The reason was he's in the process of getting a divorce, and the mortgage company said they would work with him, and that it's not a problem to not pay the mortgage and get caught up and then come back and get caught up on the mortgage, and then they said, oh no, they can't do that. And I believe there are 2 children in the house as well. And I'll see if I can't find their ages. I thought I
So
saw
the
that.
children live with him. He
With-
has
Correct.
sole custody.
He has custody. I don't know if it's sole custody or if it's joint or what he has 2 daughters, 11 and 13, and a son that is 10.
So Mark, what is he, about 6 months behind in his mortgage?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this to pay off the mortgage or just?
What do you?
Just to catch up.
What do you, who has talked to him, recommend?
Our gut feeling was that he was being truthful. The person that had brought him in is someone we have known for a long time and would not intentionally lead us astray in a case where they were trying to assist this person.
Yeah. Okay, so your recommendation is we approve it?
Yeah, that is my recommendation. That is correct.
Okay.
Is he in a position to pay next month's? Is he back on his feet?
Yes,
or-
he'll be able to pay once he's caught up, yes. It's just the back part that needs to get caught up.
And how much money is currently in the fund that would pay this?
I do not know. I would have to look that up. I can get that to you, though.
Is it, you know,
More than enough.
Do you have a rough?
Okay, so
Two, 300,000.
it's $200,000 or $300,000, so this is a drop in the bucket.
It is. And it is
I would let-
holidays.
I would say we let Mark make the decision on this. If he thinks it's a good decision,
We have to
then we
approve
go
this
with it.
too.
Or we vote
You
on
ha-
his recommendation.
I can only make it right, due to the amount, it's above both my abilities to make that, so.
All right, I make a motion that we support this veteran with $6,171.79 to get him current on his mortgage based on the recommendation of the county service officer.
Any support?
No support?
Question?
Yes, ma'am.
Has he gone other places like Mid-Michigan Community and other places and applied for help? or
I do
no?
not know. I
Okay.
don't know the answer to that.
I'll support that.
Okay. Any more discussion?
Don't we usually review some financial records?
If by 6
I have those, yes.
That's not much.
Yes, if you wish to review them, I'd be happy to. If you wish
$1,000 a month.
to wait
6
and
months.
review, I'll be happy to
He's
give it to
going
you.
through a deep
And you would pay
$1,000 a month.
directly to the mortgage?
To the lender, correct. We do not pay anything to the veteran, correct.
6,000.
Otherwise, that fund's just going to keep building. What are we going to do with it?
Any more questions?
One last one. Did he happen to say how much was his attorney fees during this? I'm gonna guess that was all attorney fees he had to pay.
I don't believe I saw that, no.
I was just curious. 6,000 is probably,
Yeah, I don't think the attorney fees are our issue.
no, but that's why he couldn't pay his mortgage.
Well,
Looking for the need by
but
the concern.
we're talking 6 months. So,
Attorneys aren't cheap.
Do we do any counseling? I know Mid-Michigan Community Action that helps with rehousing people, but they also include like a budgeting type training session, and I don't know if we should be providing any of that for people to, balance their budget and.
I know we talked frequently to Mid-Michigan Community Action Agency, and at the end of the year, they're out of funding. They have a lot of people that qualify, but their budget is depleted. So they're waiting, they were waiting on $50,000 they got from Congressman Kildee, still waiting on that to rehab some more housing, but a lot of projects have been on hold for 6-7 months. And as far as I inquired recently, and they said the only thing that could help an individual with housing was give them a list of rentals, but it was outdated. But they have no money to help. So we had a bad situation, 2 adults and 2 children, all unrelated, living in a 400 square foot home. So we're trying to get help for the 78-year-old gentleman. They said the only help we have at this point is we can refer him to some rentals, but he has no money for for a deposit or the first month's rent. So.
I recommend that we help this young man out, or old man, or whatever he is. If we don't use this money for what it's designed for, where's it going to go? To Mr. Markstrom's little hole in the wall down here worth millions of dollars that's never going to do anything? So my recommendation is give it to a veteran that needs it. That's what those funds are for.
Yep, Marilyn?
So since we don't have any policies and procedures in place for emergency funds, if he comes back, how soon can he come back?
1 year. Not any,
1 year.
it's the same with anyone else. We keep them at the 1 year mark before they can come back with. They could do quarterly for gift cards, for gas, and for food, and we keep them at 1 year for utility bills or anything else.
And if he comes back in a year with the same issue, you bring it back
I would have to bring it back to this.
Okay.
And I'm sure in a year, his recommendation would be no, because we just gave him $6,000 a year ago.
We don't know that, though.
I'm pretty sure of
I
that.
know this goes without saying, you keep track of those, you keep files of.
Yeah, we have a tracker. We do by quarter, so we know
In
when
the
you
event
look at
this
the
came up
quarterly
after a year, you'd
reports.
mention to us,
Because you'll have new members.
yeah, because we don't know his name, obviously, but you would know.
What's that?
You'll have new
Yes, we
members
do
on
know,
the
yeah.
committee. But if Mark keeps track of it, at least he can present it, if he does
You'll
come
have
back.
one new member on the committee in a year.
Well,
I agree with Mike, if the money's there, the reason you said it comes from a reliable source, that this guy's definitely in need, and I could see $6,000 being eaten up very easily in attorney's fees and child care and emergency things while going through divorce, so I agree with that.
we can't say about a divorce and child care and all that. We're there to help the veteran with the mortgage.
That's true, but there's a reason.
And why did he wait so long?
I'm not sure, as Gary originally interviewed him, it was probably that he didn't know our program existed, and until he talked to this other person, that the recommendation to even apply.
I have no issue with giving him the money, but we really have to keep track of these veterans, especially if they keep on coming back.
And we do, we have a
The
spreadsheet.
repeat customers, yes. I don't think this gentleman's a repeat customer. Is that correct, Mark?
He is not.
Ms. Marcia?
And I don't usually speak that much, but I can't help myself today getting involved. Mark, I think when we talked, it was our understanding this would probably be a one-time.
Correct. This should be hopefully a
Don't come
one-time.
back with mortgage payments later, get it figured out, get whatever advice you need, because it is a sizable grant, but it's one that's worthy, I think. I agree with, Mike and Troy's assessment that that's what the millage is for, is to help our veterans in need. And just a few years ago, we approved $5,000 for a new boiler for a Vietnam vet that had done 3 or 4 terms, and I'm trying to think, the plumbers and pipe fitters volunteered to labor to install it, and that was $5,000. But he was living in a big house on 5th Street with no heat, and he wore a coat
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I just want,
But I wasn't quite finished. I was going to tell you, one of the guys that was a repeat customer, he's gone away. We guided him into getting a new cell phone. He was locked into a plan where you still paid by the minute, and his cell phone bills were between $400 and $500 every month.
Oh, my God.
And he would come in,
Sounds like he talked.
and he would come in every month and get paid until we finally explained to him,
Change your plan.
there are plans where you can have unlimited calls and unlimited texts. He was still paying by the minute. And it was $400 or $500 a month, and he was semi-indigent, and the old sailors and Soldiers and Sailors Relief Commission was paying it every month. his
How do you
phone bill.
define semi-indigent?
You know, that was Soldiers and Sailors.
You get
and I think in the future, maybe the people that
had to put
ask
that
for
one in there.
assistance, I don't know if there's any classes out there, financial classes in the community for free that can
Yeah.
help them with their financial.
That maybe Mark can incorporate that in the future if it's an ongoing
Yeah.
thing that built up over time. And
Actually, I'll
But
comment on
sometimes
that.
you can't anticipate a divorce, and it can be financially devastating for both individuals.
Correct.
Then when you got kids involved, it's even tougher.
Mr. Chairman, I think you have a motion on the floor, and I believe,
Yes, you want to call the question?
and there was a second to the motion.
Yes. All right, let's do a roll call vote then, since it's a money issue.
Mr. Begich,
Yes,
Stewart, yes. Pergandy,
Yes.
Lazarus,
Yes,
and Eckstein.
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you very much, thank you.
Thank you.
And Memorial Day 2023, we're planning ahead. Was this, I can't remember, was this Mr. Pergandy's suggestion?
I requested that this be put on the itinerary to discuss. And then the issue becomes, are we going to continue to do the same thing we've done for the last 20 years? Or are we going to do something differently at the county level? You know, for the last 20 years, what happens is everybody runs around from this place to this place to this place to this place. And we have some ceremonies. And it seems like everybody's overloaded. And Van, you're involved with it, with the color guard more than anybody else.
Yeah, I am.
Do we need to maybe take a look at it and do like some of the other counties do? I think Saginaw County, you're from Saginaw County, correct, sir? You have one ceremony, correct?
That's correct. I was a keynote speaker a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They have one.
They have one ceremony for the whole county. And all of the veterans organizations support that one ceremony. And I don't know, where do you do it? At the county building?
No, they got a large memorial at Hoyt Park.
Yeah.
Large memorial.
Right.
The parade that starts downtown, goes past the memorial, but then they have the address at the memorial at Hoyt Park.
Right. So you have a park similar to our Vets Park. Same kind of thing. So, you know, do we want to keep scrambling around, going to every cemetery or every other cemetery in town and doing things sort of, I will use the term, I don't like it, but I'll use it, half-assed? Or do we want to come up with a county Veterans Memorial Day celebration consolidated?
Well,
well,
I'll tell you why I think that's a great idea, because as our service members and veterans become older and older, it gets harder and harder for them to get around and move all these places. And I think if we did consolidate it to one central area, I think it would be more inviting for people who are disabled and just can't wait for the bus to go here or whatever.
And you can't get in here because it's hard to get into Floral Gardens because it's all the traffic and, you know, it's hard to get everywhere.
the Bay County Veterans Council is in charge of making out that schedule for Memorial Day.
They are. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've been here since, what is this, 2022? I've been here since 2010, and it's the same schedule, recopied every year. And you've all seen it.
Yes.
I don't know who has the secret copy, but it shows up every year and it gets
The
recopied,
commander of the Bay County Veterans Council,
whoever that may be at this point in time.
John.
Gary.
But anyway, I don't think it should be in the hands of Bay County, because you have all these veterans organizations that are very proud to go to all the memorials at the cemeteries. Now, I should say, leave it up to the veterans organization. American Legion, you go to 2. The PLOB goes to very many. And the Honor Guard and Vietnam vets, and I don't know about DVA anymore, we're here for the veterans,
What do you guys go?
not just for Bay
We'll do
County.
the 3 biggest ones.
I hate to take it out of the hands of the Bay County Veterans Council. And you're going to have the Honor Guard, the PLOB, and vets, the Vietnam veterans, they're going to be up in arms.
I agree with Mike and Marilyn. We do 5 to 7, depends on how my guys can do at the end of the day, because some are World War II vets. We do our 5 every year, and then we'll try doing 2 of them at the end. And we have 12 or 13 people ours, which is very good. But 5 is about the limit for my guys, because I've got Korean War vets and World War II vets that they just can't carry the
But
rifle.
that's your choice.
And we'll continue, because we do ours for where our members are at, and we go to certain grave sites. But there is a lot of them on that list that people see on there, and they go there, but nobody does a ceremony. Maybe we need to tune the list down some.
I go to all the Honor Guard and the PLOB.
Because we do the county building.
We
Hampton,
have
and
a lot
Fort
of
Orange are big.
people at St. Stan's, Sailor's Rest. I mean, they want to respect their relatives.
Maybe we should just
I
post the
don't
ones that people
think you
do.
should just have it here or at the Edson.
But how many Maryland aren't being attended, I think is what he's getting at. There's at least 5 or 6 that nobody covers.
Oh, we have a lot of people attending at the
I'm talking about
PLOB.
that sheet of 17 or 19,
But-
there's a lot of them that are not
But
attending.
that would be your choice as a veterans organization,
We'll just ask
the
them.
Marine Corps.
But I'm saying nobody's putting on a demonstration, so if I show up to that cemetery, there's not a demonstration. So we need to cut that list down to the ones that we actually
That's up.
service.
Okay, here's what I
Leave
want.
it up
If
to
you're
the
gonna go with that same
organization,
schedule,
the veterans organization.
if you're gonna go with that same schedule, I want a phone number that I can give to people that call the American Legion wanting to know what time and where the ceremonies are. Because it doesn't get posted in the newspaper. It's nowhere. Nobody knows about it. They call me. And all I do is go pull the one from 4 years ago out and look at it because it's the same damn
Well,
thing.
It's communication for the Bay County Veterans Council to
And I'm gonna give them
communicate
your phone
that.
number. And you can
They
call, talk to
have
them.
my phone.
Well, how do- how do we-
Believe me, I get the call.
How do we fix it? You're on the Bay Vets Council, how do we fix it? Because that list, like Mike says, it's very long, only half of those get attended by ceremonies.
Vaughn, you're on the Bay County Veterans.
Yes, and I go to all of them. So, I think it would be good to have one big one with a featured speaker, I go to all of them, and they're all the same, so it gets repetitive after a while, but it does honor the people at different, Floral Gardens has their own ceremony and stuff, so it probably would be good to have one big one with a featured speaker, somebody to come in and speak, maybe either here or across the river at the memorial over there, and then still have the smaller ones. We have people who want to do it, if they still want to do it, that's fine with me, but.
What about your veterans organizations that want to go to these cemeteries?
Yep.
You're doing a dishonor to them.
Right. And we have the
Look at how
BVA.
many people we had here at Bay County for Veterans Day.
We do have the
I don't
BVA has a
think you're
helicopter,
gonna
we like to
have
do
the
that ceremony
show.
over there.
Yeah.
Think you are
Yeah.
for one ceremony.
Well, do we know who puts that sheet out? Like
Yeah.
Mike, I don't know who puts it out exactly.
I have no idea.
The commander of the Bay County Veterans Council, John,
Yeah.
what's his name? Who? John DeWeiss.
Could we do a major, the main one, the county one, at the county meeting, which we do?
Well-
And then each veteran service, pick up the ones you're gonna pick up?
I
And let
would-
John DeWeiss know.
I would recommend you get with John DeWeiss.
Because, I mean, the Marine Corps, there's 4 that we like to do every year because this represents our members and we do that. And we do the Bay County one because that's the first one we do, the one in Hampton. And then we
We
come down
have
to
some
Ridge River.
time between now and Memorial Day to maybe set up some meetings and maybe come to a
I-
decision. I know Vets Council meets the first Wednesday of the month at the Plav at 6 o'clock.
First Wednesday?
So that probably would be a place to start, is at the Plav at the first Wednesday, which would be January 4th, maybe? Maybe we could try to have more people involved and come to a consensus and maybe look for a featured speaker. It would be good to have a featured speaker to come in and maybe draw a bigger crowd.
And maybe every Vets Council group can be represented at the Plow that night.
Well, you'd have to get with John DeWeiss. And, you know, if these they agree to do
John DeWeiss
one,
lives in Mankato.
I really doubt it. I have boots on the ground, and these people that come from Bay County to watch the ceremony, they have loved ones there.
Yeah, we agree.
You know, I appreciate all the sentiments being expressed, but the raw truth here is that inevitably, what Briganti is proposing is going to come to fruition. I mean, it's inevitable.
Right.
Just can't do this forever with the population we're dealing with.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think there's going to be a Bay County Veterans Honor Guard in the near future because no young people
There
are
you go.
stepping up to the plate.
There you are.
So let's maybe leave it for the Vets Council at this point, and January 4th at 6 o'clock, and see if we can get a group together to maybe decide, and maybe try to find a bigger ceremony somewhere to have some featured speaker come in that maybe it would be a draw.
I like that.
I'm going to tell you, if you guys from Bay County want to see what it should look like for a veterans
Yep.
ceremony, go see what they do in Saginaw County. Go see what they do in some of the other counties in Michigan, and they put us to shame.
Well, this
And they have
is
a
Bay
parade.
County.
And there lies
And-
the problem.
We'll get it.
And I'm on the honor guard, and I go to all the memorials.
And thank you for doing that.
That's not the point. I see Bay County people there, and they are proud because they're showing respect to their dad.
They are, and they could show the same respect at one service in one location.
Well, I think it's simply a pragmatic issue. Sooner or later,
Well,
Go good, yeah, good.
it can be later.
Being involved with this,
it's going to happen.
being involved with this many times, because I'm on past commander of my American Legion post in Frank, they do a great affair there too, but Saginaw County also. I think you're getting confused with a county event versus a township event or a VSO event.
Right.
And that's where the confusion comes. You know, there's 26 registered VSOs by Congress, 26. And all of them has their vision of what it should look like. So, you know, if you have a county affair, whomever you appoint, going to be your county chairman for that would be your county event. If they want to do something in their own township, that's up to them. But the main event is your event, and they go from there. And the VSOs, veteran service organizations or military service organizations, they just have to fall in line with what your program is. Now, I envision a big parade with all the VSOs, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the police department, sheriff department, fire department, a big parade right down Main Street, going to your Veterans Memorial, laying a wreath, keynote speaker, walk away. That whole thing takes about 1 hour. That's all it takes. So don't get confused about the VSOs that really throw a monkey wrench into things, or the townships versus the county. Your county affair is different than the rest of them. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we do have a lot, you know, we just did the Graves registry thing also to identify all the township. And some of those township are quite outlying, like Beaver and something like that, so it's a little hard for them to come into a central location to have a ceremony too.
And they can have their ceremony in Beaver Township, you know? But the county needs to have a county
Ceremony.
Memorial Day and Veterans Day celebration.
So I guess we'll let it fall back to Vets Council, and if they need to call in outside help from the county, wherever.
I'll be
Is that okay, Vets Council?
I'll attend the Vets Council too.
Yeah.
January
Ben, do you have anything to say about that?
January 4th. I agree with you, it should be a part of it.
And I'm telling you,
Come on up, microphone, yeah.
Much nicer.
and I'm telling you, the woman they had talk here on
Myself, I would like to continue with the
is this.
honor guard at the cemeteries. Through the years I've been commander of VVA color guard, I've eliminated 4 or 5 because it was too much for what there is. Right now, I have only 3 people left in the color guard from VVA. In September of '21, was it 20? Since then until first of this year,
She's on the
we've
bottom.
lost 12 members to either COVID, heart attacks, or whatever. One person moved away. So, I like going to them, but at times it's a pain in the butt. Because you only get 3 people there, and there's supposed to be 6.
Then you can't get professional. It's hard to do it.
Pardon me?
It's hard to do it when you only have 3. It's hard to do a professional. You don't like to do it when you only have 3, I agree. It's tough. If you have 7 in a firing detail, a bugler, and a speaker, 9, 10 is a good number, and that's hard to get nowadays.
Yeah.
It's hard for all of us.
Vets Council Color Guard only has 3 people for firing squad, unless the Marine group comes in and joins us.
And maybe that's when you speak at the plot, because I've got at least 10 riflemen in our detail, but maybe we need to join with the vets of the county and maybe join together with that. That's a good point. Our detail's a little younger, not young. Our youngest guy's probably 40-something, but younger than the other details. And we always have at least 10 show up for rifles. So maybe I can go to that meeting and maybe we can see if we can work some guys into the vets. 'Cause the problem is, we have so many VSOs in this area, and so many people are involved with all of them, you just don't have time to do all of them. That's the problem. And our Marine Corps is very active, but for them to join the Legion, the VFW, then the Bay Vets, it's a lot out of them, so.
Mr. Chairman, my intent was to stir the pot, and I think
Yes,
I've
you
succeeded.
did a good job.
I would like to reiterate that what's being discussed is inevitable, so there's no sense getting upset about it. It's going to happen.
Exactly.
Because it's
Yeah.
You're right.
virtually
It
impossible.
may not happen next month or next
Well,
year, but it's going to happen.
It's going to
We'll
happen.
keep up the discussion.
In time, in time.
Okay, let's
But
move
not
on.
on my watch.
We
Replacement
don't know how long the
recommendation.
watch is going to be. See, there's the problem.
Oh, I have an idea.
Quit getting so emotional about stuff.
We have a big replacement.
Your hormones are kicking in
People
again.
of Bay County. And besides, it's my last meeting,
I
so.
think Ron, you're next.
So we have to replace Marilyn.
Thank God.
How can you replace Maryland?
It's going to be hard to do.
Can't do that.
So we have one candidate who has come forward, Mr. Van Digby, stepped up and submitted his name to replace Marilyn on the Veterans Affairs Committee. And we make a recommendation to the commission, and then they vote on the appointment. So at this time, there's only one, so I would look for a resolution to move it to the county commission.
I move we recommend Van Digby to replace Marilyn Lazars on the Bay County Veterans, whatever we are,
Committee.
committee.
And then
Okay.
support?
I have a question here, sir.
Yep. Was that a support for discussion?
Got a question.
Did you receive a letter that I was requested to write?
I did. I guess that's Mark. There's a letter I got that came in late, so my question is, I guess, did it come in time?
Okay.
There's one here
Oh, for another person?
with the name of Charles Campbell, so maybe Mark can explain that to me.
I cannot, unfortunately, you'd have to check with Lindsay or with Deanna on how does that, I do not know.
The only one I received was Van Digby's nomination, so I think it may have been past, there was a deadline that they set, so So that person is welcome to apply. Every year there's, I think we just had one this year, there'll be two next year that'll be coming up. So apparently it got past the deadline, so we have a motion and I need support. Support, Marilyn, to appoint Van Digby, or refer to the board for appointment. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll send that forward to the meeting today, in fact. Miscellaneous. I don't have any miscellaneous. I do have a certificate here that has State of Michigan, County of Bay. The county executive, on behalf of the citizens of Bay County, is proud to present the certificate of appreciation to Marilyn K. Lazar for your service on the Bay County Department of Veterans Affairs Committee and for your many years of supporting Bay County veterans. And it's signed by County Executive Barsha and myself. So I think we can maybe come forward and maybe give it to her here.
I've known Marilyn a long time.
You don't want to go there.
Thank you for your service to this committee and all of the work that we have. Big County's veterans. Men and women veterans especially.
I will still be around.
Anyway, you got that photo, right? Had your last?
I texted him, he goes, I don't think so. I says, no, my guy just said, I says, that's $1,000 a year.
All your retirement comes out. Yeah, it's excluded.
Any tax you do in retirement, it's gonna be $1,000.
It's excluded, it comes out of there totally.
He said, I did for your disability, I said, that's totally different.
Your 1099, you get from military, retirement, excluded, everything on there is excluded.
Yes.
He's been doing everybody.
Who's doing your taxes?
With respect to the monument for Yuill, that request was passed to me several years ago by Warren Smith, who's a member of that church.
Yes.
And I know he's still interested in this.
Yes.
And if we're looking for an engraver, I'll bet Warren Smith would be willing to go out and find one.
I can reach out to him, Warren Smith. I think there are a couple other people from that church. I think even Mr. Hickner at one time mentioned it to me about that person. So if he can find an engraver, that would be good.
Yeah, just, Warren, we got all the T's crossed, I's dotted, we can't find an engraver.
First thing that's gonna happen.
Would you find an engraver?
There's got to be somebody.
They're gonna want a copy of the
We'll find somebody. We'll have a ceremony. All right, I do not have any other items.
Yeah.
Mark does, though.
Sorry, just one, and I'll be real quick, and it's a tie into Marilyn's question earlier regarding
That's bullshit.
financial advice or financial planning advice, I guess for a better word. So one of the things that our office does is we coordinate with other veteran groups. For example, Mr. Markstrom's group, Gary and I usually attend his meetings, so if there are questions, people know who we are, they know where to go. We get answers to questions. One of the other groups that I go to is the Great Lakes Bay Veterans. I was going to get it wrong. It's a huge, long name. Sorry, 1 second.
Is it at the vet center, Mark? there in
No,
Saginaw?
this one meets, actually, we've met at the Armory. So it's the Great Lakes Bay Veterans Coalition. So what they've done is, one of the things that they're trying to do that we used to do before COVID and before the state took over again, was this regional veteran coordinating body. Not, that brought in ideas, that got resources that we could help people, we could, from multiple assets, not just ones we know of, like us. The Michigan Veteran, or Michigan Community Action Agency. So I attended their meeting, and unfortunately, myself and the Midland VSO and the new Saginaw VSO are pigeonholed as far as what we can provide due to legislative and other constraints. It has to be county members, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the questions, one of the other members there is from Huntington Bank. And so I'm on this, what do they call it, like an organizing committee type, where we're trying to meet regionally, like Bay County, Saginaw County, Midland County, and then meet back together in the new year sometime. So I'd asked them, I said, are there any sort of materials, budget-wise, that they would have that we could even just put on our table saying, hey, if you have a question on how to do a budget, how do you do your monthly budget? How do you not do your monthly budget? But, you know, and she'd said she knew there were, but she didn't have any at the moment and would let me know. So just as, so we are looking for those types of things. As far as if we can demand that they do them, I know that's where we are. So I just wanted to kind of tie that all in, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Motion to adjourn would be in order.
I move we adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
All right,
Adjourn.
Merry Christmas.